welcome back to Black Ice. It is summer 1942 and Germany has launched its long-awaited summer offensive in the south of Russia. As you can see, there's been quite a lot of action in the oceans, in the Atlantic Ocean. I would suppose most of these are United States naval engagements. What is new is that the Allies have actually fought back on the oceans, and I had to pull back from the Caribbean and some sea zones here because I've suffered a lot of submarine losses. And it's a good thing that even though you think you have something already figured out, Black Ice has a tendency to hit you back when you don't expect it. So let's go dive into the ocean warfare before we go to the land warfare here. Last month I lost 22 submarines last month, and current year, well, looks like 23. So I don't know what happened, but they just smacked me around. I just found this sea zone full of, after 2 years of almost no submarine losses, all of a sudden, I don't know if they were out on a long range or if the Americans, these could be older submarines, but as you can see, some of my squadrons are entirely depleted. So, but I have 33 new modern ones in training, so it's gonna be alright. But I was kind of surprised about what, I don't know why I started losing a lot of submarines. When it comes to convoys, so 170 convoys last month. This current year, so half a year, is 3,000, and almost all of them are Americans. US. I don't know how that works. Can you see older? Is that 19,000 convoys I've sunk? Oh my god, that's a lot. $32 submarines. Older. I think older is the entire war. And so if I lost 23 this month and I lost 32 in total, this is, maybe radar, sonar, or some invention tech made it possible. Anyways, other than that, it still looks like I'm sinking a lot of US convoys. I also lost some convoys in the Mediterranean, no, some submarines in the Mediterranean. I still see a very large UK battle fleet and a rather sizable US one. So since Gibraltar is still open, even though I closed the Suez Canal. Okay, so what else is going on? Land-wise, I'm low on manpower again. I'm at 50k. And that is just battle losses and attrition and some upgrading being done. In Egypt, I managed to use my Africa Corps to clear out most of the divisions in the south of Egypt. I think I did a couple of encirclement operations here around the AI because I'm much faster than they are. And finally I caught their main force up here in the mountains by the coast. I'd say maybe a dozen divisions are eliminated down here. And now moving up here towards a rather thin line in the Levant, in the Mediterranean. I'm gonna try to close off the coast, the Mediterranean coast. It would be nice. And it looks like with this I have air superiority in this theater. Iran is where it's been happening a lot the last couple of months. While the Eastern Front has been frozen in Russia with bad weather, there's been constant action here. The Russians are grinding me down here. I have given light anti-tank to these garrison regiments, but these 4 mountain divisions basically holding down this entire front area, and they should be very experienced by now because they're just sitting here. And of course they're suffering some losses. I wish I could send a bit more forces up here, well, but I really can't. And the US, Commonwealth, UK armies in Iraq is also being proactive. I have my cavalry army here. I have a small Panzer Corps now he's under Herman Price here. He's a defensive leader. But it looks like I'm gonna be able to get into Baghdad, and then you might wonder, why is that important? If you press F5, there's a supply hub here. If you capture this, a lot of these forces are gonna they might not be out of supply, but their supply situation is gonna be much worse. And so is mine, since I lost this supply hub here down here in this port, what's it called, Khuzestan. I'm severely overloaded at the one Iranian supply hub here. It's been way worse than 38 out of 17. I'm trying to alleviate it by motorizing Tehran and Yerevan here, but it doesn't really help. So even if I send more troops down to the Iraqi border, supply is probably going to get worsen. I don't know. It is, Iran is getting stronger and stronger. My training army has, I think, 6 or 7 full-size infantry divisions being trained. Those are upgraded garrison regiments. I figured that would be the fastest way to get them in place instead of going through the recruit and deploy queue. Maybe I was wrong about that. Level 8. It's going to be quite a while before they fully train. Level 6. Yeah. So, and once these divisions are in place, I can replace these badly equipped garrison regiments here. So that's Iran for you. Lots of action going on here. And also some air opposition has popped up here. British Commonwealth Air. So, not great, but on the other hand, the front isn't collapsing and I'm actually making small headway. If I can clear out Syria and Jordania and Palestine and enter from the east, I'm probably going to win this theater, but it's going to be a while. We've seen 2 landing attempts in France since our last, but he's sending in very bad troops. It's just garrison brigades. I don't know why the AI is using these crappy troops. I mean, it's a distraction, isn't it? If the AI has unlimited scripted manpower, why not? But so far, I'm able to defend. I have 3 regular elite divisions of German infantry and some Croatians training and some Danish red ones. So I'm beefing up a little bit more than my original 20 or so garrison regiments. So, but France is still rather, it's summer of 1942. I shouldn't have to have that much forces here. All right. Eastern Front. That's where everything is quiet except Blau, Case Blue in the south. During the winter, I launched an offensive from Tula on the eastern banks of the, is it the Volga River? No, that's the Volga River. Down towards Voronezh, during late spring, late winter, early spring, I surrounded a pocket around Voronezh. And then I found that even though it was kind of muddy, I started to trickle during early spring into provinces without mud. And I managed to make an encirclement around the river banks here in the forest and clear it out. I made another one down here in the southern end. And then the panzers just kept encircling. So I think I had 3 major encirclements with around 10 divisions in each. So I think the Soviets lost around 30 divisions in this area. And you can tell, instead of 4 or 5, we're down to 3 divisions. And on average in each province here. And one important thing is, in this area I did stretch out and I went as far as to the Saratov supply hub, and in 3 days, I think maybe it's operational now. No, not yet. Oh, here it is. In 2 days this rail line is going to be operational, because I've been holding it open during the winter. Sure, operating during snow and mud and rain suffers a little bit of losses, but I stand in a very early offensive position. I moved all the way from Voronezh over to the Saratov supply hub in spring and early summer. So now when the nice clear sun weather, I will have June, July, August, September, 4 months of summer to, probably capture the Saransk supply hub here. And my main goal is Saratov. I really don't know how to finish off Soviet Russia in 1942. The green divisions here are now under, the Panzer Corps is now under command of von Schweppenburg, which is a nice skill 4 Panzer expert and spirit specialist. He's decent. And where is Guderian? Now he's in command of the 1st Panzer Army, an army group. And he's an excellent 7 attack skill, all-out offensive leader. I rolled no defensive values, and he's got 8 planning. So a fully planned assault with this field marshal is great, and he's a logistics master, so he's filling up fuel and supply for those panzers as well. That cost me a lot of command power, of course, doing that upgrade. Yeah, that's about it. So the summer offensive is going to start, and I have a little bit of an issue here with production. For the first time, some factories are red. Like, I have 3 factories, but they still don't seem to exist. It's kind of like they are, maybe it calculates factories from Voronezh or somewhere. Okay, I think I know. You know, it's probably all right, 6 factories here are missing because they've been bombed in Germany. Okay, so that makes sense. So around 6 of these factories here, they are red out and don't function. I'm gonna start building heavy anti-air. Yeah, I thought it was because I had production capacity missing, but it seems like it temporarily reddens out factories and you can't use them while they're being repaired. That makes sense, because as you can see here, I started building Marder 2s. It's a chassis with the Panzer II chassis and the 75 long gun. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these guys, but when I did this, I had red factories here, no production at all. So, but air war is going fine. I don't see a lot of Russian air, and even the Allied air is being stretched out. But they are bombing me in Germany, of course. But I have so many fighters in training. It's just annoying, and I'm actually okay. So let's dive into some tips and tricks that I like to do. As you can see, Moselland and Rhineland are building 2 anti-air each. Okay, so why is that? Well, if you check the anti-air cover here, so yeah, oh, that's because they are being bombed. But when you start up the game, you have 2 anti-air in Berlin, east and west. So, and you have 2 in Brandenburg. So you just build 2 in Mecklenburg, and then you have a precision, what the hell? Focus. Here, over here. This one, flak defenses 4. It gives you 4 in Berlin, and 2 in Mecklenburg and 2 in Brandenburg. All right. So I discovered now that it seems like you can have more than 4 air. So Berlin has 6 anti-air. I don't know if that's new. All over the place here. Look, I have 6 out of 4 in Berlin. So I built up 2 in Mecklenburg, and I got 2 for free in Brandenburg, 2 for free in Mecklenburg, and I got 4 for free in each of the Berlin hexes. So basically, you could build up Brandenburg and Mecklenburg more than. Let's see. Each damage from bombing 90% when you have max level is 6. While it says 4 out of 4, max level should be 4. I don't understand this. Anyways, the tip is that you check these focus tree focuses, and once you've established 2 anti-air in Oberbayern, Württemberg, Thüringen, and Baden on the map, then you take this flak defenses 5. You don't start with this because the later levels, they're going to be more expensive. So you start with building them, and then you add on top the focus tree free ones on top. That saves you a little bit of anti-air, IC cost. So that's the way I do it. So I guess I'm already in summer 42. I'm planning for the defense of the Reich airwise, even though I have so many fighters available for that. Yeah, this is gonna be a short one because as you can see, I'm covering the entire Mediterranean with small bomber forces. I realized that Malta and Crete is not going to be abandoned or out of supply, because Gibraltar is going to be open. As you can see here, this looks like a Canadian flag, but there's 6 BBs here, 2 BBs and 4 cruisers. There's a lot of heavy ships sailing around in the Mediterranean still, so I'm not gonna invade those islands now either. Finland is doing okay. I checked Japan out. They're heading from Burma into India, it seems. Probably should send them some Lend-Lease. So anyway, Egypt has started well. Southern Russia, the Voronezh front, Case Blue, has started great. Except for manpower, my stockpiles are all green. I'm even at the surplus of garrison equipment again, and I'm gonna save up a bit and then change the occupation policy. That's gonna cost me a lot of... I'm gonna have to use a lot more garrison equipment, but the losses will be lower long term, I think, and I'm gonna get more factories available. The Russians not gonna like us because we're gonna have harsher occupation policies. And tanks is the same, a bit over 6,000 tanks on the map. The thing is, now I get a trickle of all these different Sturmgeschütz and self-propelled artillery and flak panzers, etc. I only have 50 factories out of 98 on medium tank production, so 48 are actually on recovery vehicles and kind of assortment of support vehicles. But those 6,000 tanks in the field, the amount of light tanks is going down and the amount of high quality medium tanks are going up. So the amount of tanks in the field is not really increasing, not rapidly at least. But the quality should be increasing substantially during 1942. As for fuel, the increase rate has gone down. It's going to take me 2.5 years, and that is after occupying Baku. But also, I'm actually having to achieve this 2.6 years. I am importing all the oil I can from Latin America again. And with the US Navy out there, I'm losing a lot of convoys. Yeah, I still have more than 500 convoys left right now, so I'm not too worried about it. But for me to move over to the higher fuel policies to get more stability, I probably might have to build more refineries, and I'm not quite sure I want to do that, to be honest. I mean, I have plenty of oil to survive as it is now, but if I increase my civilian production, yeah. So I'm not quite sure what my future policies here. Obviously, I want to go over to extreme taxes. I want to increase my domestic loans, but I still don't have any, my stability. I have a minister as well. What's his name? Again, that you can, his name is Thomas. He gives 5% factory output. That is probably the guy, the 150 PP I should spend next. 5% factory output is huge. I don't need a mineral resources extraction. And I build faster military factories. Yeah, this guy, I probably should appoint him right now. I'll think about that. All right. I don't feel like doing gameplay right now. I'm just going to do an after action report. But expect Saratov to fall in the coming months. That's probably it. That's a bit of a small summer offensive goal, I feel. But, yes, of course, I'm going to try to eliminate as many forces as I can with these panzers out in the field. All right, short report this time. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.